Odd But True presents 10 strange and surprising doggy facts. Dogs are man's best friend, and they have been for hundreds of thousands of years. Even early cave-dwelling humans have been found to have kept dogs as a companion, and yet despite this bond, there are quite a few things most people don't know about those friendly furry fellas, and some of these facts might just surprise you. So here are the top 10 strangest and most surprising doggy facts. Number 10. Doggy criminals would have to wear face masks. Obviously, this one will take some explaining, but it's actually a rather simple fact. We humans are easily identified for who we are by the taking of our fingerprints. Each person's print is unique to them and them alone, but a dog's paw prints aren't so distinct. So how would doggy detectives hunt down canine criminals? Well, they'd use their nose prints. Every dog's nose contains a mixture of creases, crevasses and ridges which is entirely unique to that dog, so much so that it can be used to identify an individual pooch from millions of others. There's no news yet on whether you can use a dog's nose to unlock an iPhone though, and to be honest, I don't fancy the idea of getting a dog to stick its nose in a pad of ink, but if we ever do need to solve a vicious mutt murder, at least we'll know what to use as evidence. Number 9. A waggy tail does not mean your dog is happy. The wagging of a dog's tail is far more complex than, "Ooh look, it's moving, they must be fine." In fact, the multitude of different tail movements could be described as being a language in itself. Such are the complexities of your pooch's little butt antenna. However, before you sign up to Tail Wagging 101, there are some general rules of thumb you can use to determine your dog's emotional state. If the tail wags predominantly on the right, your dog is probably happy. If it wags mostly to the left, something has frightened your dog. Tail which wags closely to the ground can be a sign of aggression, and if your dog's tail is rotating extremely fast, your dog might be a helicopter. Number 8. Most dogs are smarter than a toddler. You might disagree with the statement the next time you see your pooch chasing its own tails for hours on end and eating excrement in the garden, but a dog is actually as smart as the average 2-year-old child, according to the American Psychological Association. Of all the different dog breeds, it was discovered that Border Collies are the Stephen Hawking of the canine world, closely followed by Poodles, German Shepherds, Dobermans and Golden Retrievers. These were the breeds which responded best to attempts at training, who managed to think for themselves and managed to hide the researchers' shoes in the most cunning place possible. Most dogs can understand at least 150 words, but the world's smartest is actually a Border Collie named Chaser, who can recognise an incredible 1022 different words. Unfortunately, for owners of the Basset Hound, your little doggy comes bottom of the class on this particular test, as they're the dumbest of the bunch. Ah, look at their cute, stupid little faces. Number 7. Dogs are hairy, slobbery doctors. So we've already established that a dog is good for your heart's health, but did you also know they've been known to detect cancers, seizures, low insulin levels and other medical complaints before humans even know that they exist? Dogs can be trained to bark and activate alarm systems when they detect the early signs of a person's epileptic seizure, allowing nearby humans to act appropriately. There is also solid evidence that dogs can detect the presence of cancerous cells in humans entirely through smell. A dog has to be trained to identify the smell of cancerous growths, but due to their incredible nasal abilities, it can be done using either the human's breath or urine. It's still unknown why dogs would have developed this ability, but one theory refers to our role in taking care of them. We provide food, shelter and toasty warm laps for dogs, and have done for tens of thousands of years, so it is in their interest to keep us alive. Any small change in our health, whether it's a cut on a leg or an internal tumour, presents a threat to that stability. So it's probably a good idea that we never leave the care of our dogs to robots and machines, because when the doggies don't need us, they might stop telling us when we're sick. Number 6. Dogs get jealous. We've all had that one girlfriend or boyfriend who was just a little too clingy. They call you demanding to know where you are, who you're hanging out with, why you haven't responded to their 8 billion texts. But did you know that dogs are actually just as high maintenance? The University of California found that when a dog sees its owner being affectionate towards another dog, they get super jealous. And it's not just other dogs. If you're getting close to another person, another animal, or even a teddy bear, the dog will start to think that they've been replaced in your affections. The researchers at the University of California, who clearly have the best job ever, found that when a human owner paid attention to a robot dog that whined and barks like a real one, the actual dog became so angry it attacked the toy dog. So the next time you're walking in the park and you start stroking a stranger's dog, you'd better have some damn fine excuses when your own pooch catches you. Just saying, "This isn't what it looks like, I promise." It's not going to work. Number 5. The dog who is a mayor. In 2014, the town of Cormorant, Minnesota decided that, like everyone else, they were sick of human politicians lying and cheating their way through office. But whereas most people would then vote for some crazy new politician or just not bother voting at all, the folk of Cormorant had a little too much to drink that night and voted in a dog named Duke as their town's honorary mayor. The election cost $1 to participate in, and Duke won the vote by a huge margin. The 7-year-old Great Pyrenees took 75% of all votes cast. Although considering only 12 people took part, whoever he ran against should probably have handed out leaflets or something. Duke has proven to be a real dog of the people by not taking a salary for the role of mayor, and is instead paid in kibble. After winning, Duke was treated to 5 hours of grooming and a fancy new outfit, which is basically the same as what human mayors get. The news of Duke's election proved to be a popular decision amongst most of Cormorant's residents, except the town's cats, who can now probably look forward to levels of persecution the nation has never seen before. Well, at least not until Donald Trump becomes president. Number 4. Dogs are excellent wingmen. This entry should serve as both a piece of advice to the boys and a word of warning to the girls. Guys will try literally anything to get a girl's phone number. They'll ask a friend to do it, they'll try to trick you, and now they're even involving animals. But at least the last one actually works. Several studies over the years have discovered that the presence of a dog makes you want to talk to somebody even more than usual, and so naturally one day this was going to be used to help guys pick up chicks. A French study involved men walking a dog trying to get phone numbers from girls in a park, and then trying the same thing again without the dog. Over the course of the study, those who were walking a dog were 3 times more successful than those without. So if you ever see a guy rocking up to the club being flanked by a golden retriever and a miniature poodle, now you know why. Number 3. Dogs poop according to magnetic fields. The next time you see a dog coil out a hot steaming roll of fudge, you're probably not looking at it thinking, oh, what a clever little boy you are. But you should be, because these canine Einsteins are actually pooing according to the axis of the Earth's magnetic field. Humans can't detect these magnetic fields without the use of scientific equipment, but dogs can, and for some reason it makes them all a little OCD when they go to the bathroom. A study in 2013 found that most dogs prefer to take a dump when their body is aligned along the north-south axis of the Earth's magnetic fields. As yet, nobody knows exactly why dogs do this, but it is fun to imagine that right now, around the world, there are thousands of dogs pointing the same way while they're laying cable. Number 2. They love the smells you hate. Anyone who has ever owned a dog dreads the sight of their mutts rolling around on the ground, because this always means one of 2 things. Either your dog has taken up breakdancing, or they found something stinky to roll in. Dogs seem to love covering themselves in all kinds of animal poo, rotten animal flesh, and basically anything that smells bad. But why would you do that? Probably for the same reason we roll around in a bathtub full of jasmine and lavender oils. It smells delightful. To a dog anyway. Dogs have millions more scent receptors than humans do, which enables them to smell more complex aromas. This is why we use them to sniff out drugs or dead bodies, and also why they communicate by smelling each other's buttholes. Can you imagine if humans did that? I don't think I'd be a very conversational person. Anyway, whilst our own nasal ability makes humans prefer fresh and clean aromas, the complex scent receptors in a dog's nose makes them prefer the heavenly stench of rotting flesh and excrement. So when Mr. Jangles comes back covered in dead skunk and horse manure, now you know why. And now, am I the only one imagining what a doggy perfume advert would look like? Probably. Number 1. They help your heart. Okay, so when Fido knocks over that vase and spits up in your shoes for the 15th time today, you might wonder how on earth a dog could possibly be good for your health. But a report from the American Heart Association revealed that people who own dogs actually live longer than people who don't. One of the main reasons is that owning a dog is hard work. Those with a canine companion have to get up to exercise their pooch at least once a day, whereas when a cat sits on your lap, you feel obliged to stay put until Kitty wants to move. You are their human futon. A similar study in 2001 also discovered that people with high-pressure jobs had significantly lower blood pressure if they owned a dog, because stroking an animal distracts your mind from the stresses of the day and helps you to relax. But the most incredible statistic came from a research paper in 1995, which studied people who already had heart disease. 400 people with cardiovascular problems were followed by the study, and when the team checked in on them a year later, the people who owned a dog were nearly 4 times more likely to be alive than those without one. So next time you give your doggy a death stare for chewing on your slippers, just remember, it might be saving your life. So, those were the top 10 most strange and surprising dog facts we could find. Do you know any more? Are dogs invisible to weasels? Do they die from eating chocolate but marzipan makes them invincible? Can dogs be trained to make dubstep music better than Skrillex? Who knows? Who cares? But if you've got any interesting dog facts to share, please do so in the comments below. And don't try to tell us by communicating through our buttholes. We've disabled comments on that.